Hi there everybody. Before I start talking, I'd like to thank you for taking some time out of your evening to go ahead and click on the video. A little bit of an update video, not a overview or an informational. Well, to a certain extent, yes. I decided last minute that I wanted to go ahead and make this. I don't know how to edit as I'm new to YouTube, and so majority of the time I will have to get these videos done in one take as I'm not familiar with any editing software. So I can't do all of these crazy cuts to certain areas after I get a certain part of the job done. So I did get majority of the work done, and I'm just deciding to make a video now. I ended up getting that piece that is the H piece of pipe that goes to the heater. It is this right here. And I had to take off the AC compressor to get to it, because without taking that out, I was not able to access these hose clamps, these C-clamps here for the inlet and the outlet for the heater hoses. So now that I have that off, I can go ahead and snip in some hoses. I do have some hose that I bought. I have seen a couple example pictures of the engine bay that the outlet hose, or the inlet hose I should say, sorry, is red, and then the outlet is black. So I have two sets of hoses, one red, one black. I'm gonna do that just for the sake of trying to be aesthetically correct to what was factory. If somebody in the comments says otherwise, then just go ahead and let me know. By the time that I probably read it, I will have already completed the job, and I'll have to take all the stuff back off again. But just for the time being, I've seen a lot of examples of really nice engines that happen to have that red and black hose for the inlet and the outlets. That's what I'll do. This is that piece, and I did not make a separate video actually talking about how I wired this up, but I had to take apart the entire dash. I was fortunate that I didn't have to undo the speaker or the radio. I could just kind of slug it up on the top of the dash with the wires hanging around through the backside. But the gauge face and the dash pieces I had to take off. So this little physical wire cable goes through the dash and onto this little kind of jutted tooth that opens and closes the heater. And so one of the issues with this piece in particular that I ran into that I had to kind of circumvent was, now depending on whether you got a 360 with air conditioning, a 318, or a 400 with air conditioning, this piece kind of slightly varied. And so as far as I've seen, only with the 400 did you actually get this style of AC heater valve, where it actually has this off-centered bracket here with these two outboard drill holes. The issue that I ran into is I don't have any factory drill holes in this wheel well here, and I didn't want to do that. So I was fortunate enough that I could just actually undo these bolts that go up through the bottom of the wheel well and loosen it enough to actually snake this piece up underneath and tighten it down. Now it's held in, these little teeth hold in the metal cable here. I got it snipped up underneath here and tightened as reasonably tight as I could without stripping bolts or whatever. And then I'll be having the hoses attached. So with this, the cable to some extent, and then also the hoses, I think I'm in business and I shouldn't have to be able to drill any holes. It should stay. I have driven it actually this entire past week with this on it, and it's been fine. I haven't had any issues. I haven't found it just lying in the bottom of the engine bay. So, but what I did is, I'll just talk very briefly about what I did to start off. I did take out the battery first, and then I took out the alternator, and then I was finally able to take off the bracket. There's multiple bracket pieces that hold in this air compressor, and it's a big piece. And so just talking a little bit about it like I did in the overview video, it's actually a housing which contains two small little pistons, as well as even a crank in the bottom. So it's almost kind of like a really tiny mini V-configured engine. Pretty cool, and if it's done the right way and the gaskets are good, this thing would last a very long time. Very, very solid housing. It just weighs a ton, but for the sake of being original, it will be going back in. I'm sure I could shed some weight if I decided to keep it out and keep it off, but it will go back in because I don't have any pulley right now for the upper assembly without this on it. And I daily drive the truck, so I got to get it running again. I can't just leave it. So, but that was about it. I just wanted to go ahead and make this small video talking about where I'm at in the process, and to give a little update on just a little job that I'm doing. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and leave them in the comments. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can, and mostly by the time I read any of them, this job will be already done and I'll be back on the road. But for the time being, I have all this stuff off. I'm not just going to go ahead and snip in the hoses and call it a job over. I'm actually going to just clean this area a little bit, tighten up some things that I see that need to be tightened up, that have been loose, clean majority of the pieces that I've taken off, as well as what's here, because as far as I've had the truck, I have not seen even this underside of this timing chain cover and the water pump. So all this is kind of like new engine for me, and because of that I haven't cleaned any of this area yet, so that's why it's all sludgy and gross. So that will be taken care of. Again, I really do like how this bright blue Chrysler engine just sits in this very vibrant orange. It's a shame that the truck was rattle-canned white, but we're gonna get it there. It's not perfect by any means, but it's a slow roll, and the ball is rolling in terms of the restoration process. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good rest of your night, and take care.